Hey guys, welcome back. It's your host, Dominique,
And Roxana,
and this is
not vanilla. Beyond the initial shock, what do you do when you find out that your position has been furloughed or that you have been this high powered coder or AI person and you had a thriving career and now all of a sudden you find out that AI has taken over your position? A few of the things that you can do when you first realize that, your organization may be reorging, is to start looking for other positions. Start thinking of your next step. Because a lot of times we see the signs, but we don't trust ourselves to know that, hey, girl, it's time to find something new. What do I want my next step to be? Do I want to go to school? Because a lot of times, if people like Amazon or a Google is reorging, they will give you money to get reskilled. So think about what you want your next steps to be. And this doesn't have to be anything that's set in stone. It could be, I love to use my phone to take verbal notes and organize it later on. So just think, this organization is saying they're going to do this. I love to cook. I love to crochet. I love to sew. I love to do podcasts. What is the next thing I want to do? And start there. Start organizing your thoughts. Start organizing what you would want your next steps to be.
I know that one of the things that they said Black women had the advantage of was education. That is one thing that when we are unemployed and stuff, that is a strength that we like to do. You're supposed to brush up on your skills or get new certifications, get new licensings and stuff like that. That's what's going to help you during this time for when it is time to look for a new position. It can feel like an emotional roller coaster. Is this job for me? And now you're faced with a non-choice.
Right.
Now you're forced out. So, we just dealt with the furloughs, or now we're dealing with the rise of AI. Yeah, so it's both of them coming back to back. And actually after the furloughs, now that everyone's back in office, they're going to start, like you said, laying people off, because it's like, okay, now we know what we can and need to operate with and what we don't need and
Right.
what we were doing too much on. So they're going to try to be reducing and stuff. So for an individual, what does that mean for you? Well, I think what you said is great. Like getting up on your skills, learning what it is that you like to do, those other type of things, finding another stream of income that is not so reliant on those different outside world businesses. So yeah, that's definitely, I mean, it's scary. What is it called? From success to scarcity. You have to have a plentiful
Yeah.
mindset.
Because the truth of it is, once you get over the initial shock of, hey, girl, we may be downsizing, to, girl, we're downsizing, is, wait, I already knew this was coming and I already have in my mind a couple of the next steps.
Mm.
So we're just in a season and a state of our leadership, our government is going from left to right. So you're not upon both of our perspectives, I think is interesting because I already was having that idea of I don't want just one stream of income.
Yeah, before all of this
Yeah,
even
and
started,
you just
I,
started
I
being
knew
like that.
I knew from the environment and what was being asked of us, shit was only going to hit the roof. Yeah, and you didn't necessarily felt like how I felt, but you were just like, oh well, I'm skilled enough. I want to do something more. Right? You just wanted to do something more of purpose and aligned in purpose. And
Yeah.
I knew because we were working in the same building at one point in time. Different, totally different companies, totally different jobs, but in the same building nonetheless. So it was like I just knew in the environment I was in, I was working with the
The
state.
government, the
Yeah,
state,
with the
yeah.
state for 2, 3 years at this point, been through several contracts at this point,
And
done
I feel like a lot of people are in
seen
that. Yeah.
cycles of things going on that I always questioned and it never made sense. And that's why it was like at this point in time, I was so frustrated. I was at my
Yeah.
pinnacle of frustration because it was like, no, this is some crazy, stupid crap right here.
Yeah.
Like it got to a point. That's what we're talking about, the emotional roller coasters, because it's like you know
Yeah.
that this stuff
You
is
get
not
an
going to last.
inkling.
You know that it's
They
not going to
may
last.
have
You done
even
seen them
given
do another
you,
process.
yep, a meeting saying that, oh, use AI. You know, I know a friend who told me that their boss had, after some layoffs, had told them that they need to use AI because that was like an entry level intern. Like, guys, think
The
about that.
AI was
The
the
AI
replacement
was
person.
like an entry level intern. So, what is that telling that person that's hearing that?
That's effed up.
Get your stuff in order because
So they're saying AI can be
it's more
replaced as an
valued that
intern, a
as a
student
person.
intern from a degree.
And
That's
I've had
crazy.
great interns. I've also had terrible ones, which the AI would have been an upgrade. But think about that, guys. These are the things that we need to be locking into so that we can be prepared and not have our feelings hurt. Because at the end of the day, it's a business, right? So to me, when they told me that, I was like, oh, well, maybe I should be using AI more. I don't need to hire a person right away, right? Think about it. If this big organization is saying that, that means we all need to be using AI like an intern. I've been an intern. You've been an intern. Think of all the great ideas you've gotten when you were working as an intern. So I think it's not a bad thing. We just need to position ourselves so we are thinking about ourselves. Yes, we love organizations because they have benefits, they have days off, they have insurance, they have snacks, they have a gym. Like, yes, there's benefits, but you're a benefit. And
Yeah.
there's great things about you.
Yeah. I think it's gonna hit a wall with the AI.
Is
AI is only an intern.
Think about
AI
it.
is only
Interns
an
can be
intern.
very jacked up
I was
too.
saying
Just saying, you
interns
got
are
to teach them.
capable,
Right.
but like my mom
You've got to
Roxana
put the
just said,
inputs in.
you can have good interns, you can have bad interns. Don't you put, and that's why it's like
Don't put all your
they're
faith
gonna
in
have
them
to figure,
interns.
they being the masses, these companies are gonna have to figure out how it works and what it can actually
What?
replace.
Yeah.
Most of us are not replaceable, guys. Most of us are
None of
not,
our
even though
us
they're
are
going to
replaceable.
try, right? And
None of
that's what I
us.
would say. None of us are
None of us.
replaceable. Though they will try, they will do it
Right.
until it hits a wall of, oh, we need humans back. We need people back. But
That
at
part.
that time, you need to be skilled up, trained
Because
up,
do you even want to go
certificationed
back to
up
the office?
onto different things of how to aid them differently and being in a different atmosphere
Yeah.
differently. And that's how you success from scarcity.
And one of the things that I did when I decided, and this came after I was applying at least 20 organizations a day through LinkedIn. And I remember my last rejection being like, why are you not your own boss? You don't need to do this anymore. So write down all your feelings about it. Like, I put so many years into this position. I did so much training. Like, I feel crappy because I decided this, and this. Write down all that because that'll help you get it from in here to outside. And then what is the next thing I want to do? I think that's a way to process through that in a healthy way. And once you write those things out, talk to someone else like I used to talk to her, you'll realize you weren't dumb, you weren't stupid, you were doing the best you knew how to do, and you're able to move forward because you're awesome. So,
Doing with best with the instructions that you were
yeah,
given, the equipment that you were given, because most likely everyone knows how their job is.
yeah.
You don't have the most fancy. They didn't give you AI to do your job.
They give
They
you all the
told you to do it.
tools.
So it's like
They give you all
I
the
was like, they
tools,
didn't.
but
So
AI is going to figure it out. Good for
it's
you.
just
Good luck with
like,
that.
and it took me a second because, like I said, I worked for the state for a second, and that I worked for the state 2-3 years after fighting to find these supposedly coveted jobs that actually, in reality, guys, us working class,
They were
we
just
need to
ghost
be for
jobs.
real, right? We need to be so for real with ourselves and with these people that are put. We need to ask for more. We need to be more, execute more. Cause what? And now being out of it, not to say that I'm disappointed in myself, but I'm like, dang. Now look,
It's okay.
a state job we don't make enough. Then they're gonna withhold your paycheck or whatever, and then tell you you still need to.
You still got to go to
It
work.
it doesn't matter on the which
Right.
side of the coin you're on, because
Because
it was
we
some
were all,
people in the same boat.
even though they weren't federal, my best friend is a contractor and he still has to go to work and he is getting paid. But the gag is there was no one else there showing up to work. All the federal workers weren't there. And they expected him to be like all the positions. And he's very wise and was like, yeah, no.
But you're contracted and now you're
I'll show
forced to
up
work it. But
and
now
I'll do
none
what
of the
I'm supposed,
federal
but
people
none of
that
the other
are directing you on what the mission
right,
is or what
and
the job is.
approving and all that. I'm sorry, and all
You're
that good
fine.
stuff. Which leads us to our next thing, the scarcity advantage. Why less can be more? And I think the important part of that is when you don't have a lot in your job, think
Mm.
about how it makes you get very, very ingenuitive. Think about the times where
Mm.
you didn't have a lot of staff, you didn't have a lot of resources, but your boss told you, you guys are doing an event, it's happening in 2 months. You need to do marketing. You need to get supplies. You need to have people donate. Didn't you get it done perfectly and on time? And no one knew all that you went through to get all this stuff? So, scarcity really makes us dig deep into all the tools, into all our resources, because that's when you start to remember wait a minute, doesn't Dominique know how to post things on social media? Couldn't I get her to do that if I got her a ticket and I said that she did it? Those are the things that you're going to have to dig out now when you're looking for a new opportunity, when you're looking for your next step. What do you think about that? I know a lot of times I've leaned on you at Black Mental Health Alliance for a lot of that, but I think it also gives other people opportunities. And then you're using your network. Like you should always be using your network. Just don't go to events and not find out about other people. Other people love to talk about what they're doing at work and their project.
I think it's funny when we talk about scarcity because no one likes to talk about it. It's a
Right.
scary topic. But in reality, that's what fuels demand and all these different other companies, the scarcity or the coveted of it. Oh, you want it, or it's not a lot of people that have it, scarcity. So it's just a different way of thinking about it. But
Mm.
like we had said, if you brush up on those different skills and you create a sacred scarcity about yourself and these skills that you possess, also that's also sacredly, like you had said, you may not have these things, but then all of a sudden, you remember that this person does have these skills or that you can do this or I do have this network of someone that can help me with this. So scarcity
Makes you dig
doesn't
deep.
always mean
Lack.
right. Scarcity doesn't always mean
It never
it just
actually
means
means lack.
scarcity doesn't mean lack. It just means far and in between, the extra mile, or it's gonna take more, or it's gonna cost more to get it done and
Yeah.
executed. But it doesn't mean not capable. It doesn't mean non-existing. It's just scarce. It's
It's
there.
a little bit. It's a
It's
seed.
there.
You have skills and talents and energy that you really don't know about until you have a deadline. So think about that. Use stress. The use stress is I'm about to have a baby in 9 months. And we say about to in 9 months because that 9 months will go like this. You've got to prep, and you don't know how much you have to prep until a little human is coming into your life. So I think that use stress is what can fuel us to dig deep into skills and talents that we didn't know we had.
Or that thinking that, this is it, or you have to bring it out of yourself. Well, I think that is what propels it out of you,
Yeah.
like that scared feeling, the
Makes you get
scarcity.
very clear very quickly. Clarity comes when your options narrow. There is something that happens and turns on in our brain when we decide that we can't do all the things. We've got to pick one thing, possibly two. If you're me, possibly two. And you're going to go towards that because to me, I always have a lot of passion. So it's always hard for me to pick one. But yeah, when you know you can't choose and do all the things, narrowing it down is always going to help you to get clear and move.
I never don't think I can do all the things. I just execute it. Just do it.
You got that for me and
Yeah,
your dad.
I just do it. Brewing your lemonade, actionable steps to transformation, reevaluating personal and professional values, like rebrand those skills. And I like doing this every so often on my resume. Like, and every time I go through a different position, I kind of re-identify those things that I am
Have to.
capable of
Yeah,
doing.
because you learn new things,
And you label them too, because it's like, oh, I've done this before. You don't think that they're labeled those different
or
things,
you
but
don't
they
think they're
are.
of value.
Yeah, but they are. Data collection is talking to people on the phone, collecting their data, their name, their phone number.
Yeah.
Like, that's data entry. Even so it's like these things that I didn't think that I had done before. You do them.
And you think it's not a big deal until you have an intern that messes it all up and you've got to go back through and fix it. So I
Mm,
think, and it's not to dig on that person, but it's like you out there who's doing data collection who thinks it's nothing. I've worked for a lot of nonprofits. It's something, it's very valuable. And the fact that you've done it effortlessly and error free, that has value. And we need to remember that. And you brought up a good point about the resume. Always be looking at your resume like once a month, once a quarter, go through it, update your skills. I remember at the end of Black Mental Health Alliance, I had looked, and even at the end of the other union job that I was at, and I had learned so many things about processing cases and the different tools they were using. And I never even added it onto my resume.
yeah. And that's why I'm like, we gotta remember those things that we did do and execute and what they mean and what opportunities they can bring us in the future. Repackaging yourself and brewing your lemonade because you've done it before. And I think that's where I kind of get frustrated at myself because it's like when you see yourself back in certain situations, it's like, how did I get back here? Oh yeah, it's because I didn't really like it. So I have to
Yeah.
refigure it in my brain and stuff. And so it's like you have to pull something different out of yourself and out of the atmosphere. Like, okay, what other job then that I haven't done that I still would like that would still be aligned?
Yeah.
And it's still things out there. It's endless. So it's just like you have to align yourself with those things.
And I love that you said pull out the atmosphere because I think also what's in our atmosphere is our network. And we don't pull from our networks enough. Just like you have aunties who work in the government and you've never even asked them what they do. Oh, yeah, I know someone who works for the federal government, but you've not asked them where they work, had some kind of interest. And there's people who have all kind of openings in their mind that they're not even thinking of you and you're not thinking of them. And it's like, we need to stop doing that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to skin folk. We're gonna have to pull upon our networks.
I think we do better at it than other people.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no,
we
I
still can
mean,
get better.
it's been a couple of friends and family members where I've given a job or given what is it called? A referral. So it's like we've been doing and we have those skills of knowing how to do it. So it's like I don't think that we've ever had an issue with that. It's more of a mind thing, like a me versus me thing. Cause I never had a issue finding a position, finding a job. But it is frustrating when you been through several different positions with the same company or different consultings, and you find that these higher ups have the same issues. That gets frustrating. Or when you find these same systems, like what happened with the furloughs of it's an issue beyond us and your capability
Yeah.
of being able to do your job. It's beyond your skill set and your certifications. It's them trying to replace you, trying to bully and harass you and belittle you and squeeze your lemonade out for not the correct
For
price or
their
value.
profit. But I think about like all of those people that got laid off. I meant Facebook. I said Amazon. Amazon did do a big layoff
Mm,
earlier this last year or this year. But Facebook and Google, you can't tell me that all of them were mess ups. All of them. Like you could be doing your job well and still have to deal with these same things. So we need to really be mindful of that.
that's what I wanted to talk about. We know that the AI is not going to last long. They're trying to bring it into our neighborhoods. It uses up more water than what we got. So it's going to
All the
mess up our
energy
resources.
resources.
Let's bring it. Let me digress. It's not welcomed in our neighborhoods. It's not good for our neighborhoods. It's not sustainable for our neighborhoods.
So Google that. Google what it is to have these, what are they called?
AI databases.
The data centers.
Data centers.
They are really ruining the air. And I know that there's been a lot of talk about Elon Musk and how he's gone into these little neighborhoods and hired people. And yes, we all want jobs and money, but not at the cost of our elderly, our little kids being poisoned, air poisoned, water poisoned.
I mean, we're talking about something that we're talking about Wally world now. Now we're talking about Wally. Now we're talking about possibly living on the moon because they are going to deplete the natural resources by using it to build machinery. You know, where before windmills and stuff, we're trying to create
Worrying
energy.
about our cell
solar
phones
systems. We're
and-
trying to create
yeah.
energy. Now you're actively using the natural resources that we cannot reproduce
Yeah, that's sad.
to
y'all.
use in technology, and that's something that's very highly dangerous.
I'm
You know, we were
scared.
already using up
Yeah.
the trees. Yeah, that's scary. That's why it's like, so you're taking away the jobs to do something that to build these machines that are not sustainable. That's also taking away our other resources
Yeah.
that are used to make us stay alive and be sustainable. So that's why I'm against AI, and like this is beyond. We're not even talking about the video and the pictures because that is what AI is used for. But you know, we're gonna have to build up on our skills,
Yeah.
on our certifications, so that you know how to
Manage
talk
AI.
and type and what it is that it takes to do these things, so that they don't rely on AI to do these things. So that when AI does crash, they don't try to build a stronger AI to rebuild AI. Yeah, it's really a rabbit hole. But it's gotten crazy. I don't think that we
And you know
don't need to
what's
be
funny?
voting for these things into our neighborhoods.
Like, imagine you're at work and the electricity goes out. There is no AI that's going to help you then. And yes, you're going to have a backup generator, but think about
Ooh,
that.
you just got on another good topic that we weren't even going to talk about today, but that is a good skill. Oh, yeah.
You still have to
Usher us
know
in.
certain things,
Usher
y'all,
us
which
into
has
the
happened to
thing.
me. So I was at Maryland Ave, electricity out, and the AI was controlling our AC. We in there sweating. So it's just like, and we had to what? Call someone manually to come and help us. And I'm going to tell you, when that man or woman shows up and can fix boop, 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 you'll be so happy. So I think we need to, yes, AI is great, but it only has certain capabilities.
What
For
you guys
now.
said of how you compare it to an intern, which I think is also even mean, because some interns can do above and beyond
Terrible.
what they're can do. Some interns can
That's
do
true.
above and beyond what
And
their
you be
boss
like,
can
you
do.
so bright.
Yes,
Remember
I
me?
would say some of
But
them are
remember
great.
me when you get far,
president.
right?
Right, when you become a president or something. Because some interns are, but we're talking about, you know, these basic skills that they're deviating it off to these people because we're acting like we don't know how to do it, or
Yeah.
that it's too hard to do it. Also because they're greedy, they want to, but
Or like they're nothing, but yeah.
But guys, that was a great topic that you just brought up, because this leads me on to recession-proof and scarcity-proof jobs and skills. Which one would be an electrician? A plumber. Okay? Electrician.
A
plumber,
painter.
a contractor.
Because let me tell you,
Okay? Okay, guys, get into these skills.
I did this, but that made me say, because I didn't have money to do it, I had to what? Scarcity made me learn how to paint. And well,
but you knew
but-
knew how to do that. You
but
are
not well.
homeowners, you guys got a couple of skills under your belts.
but yes,
You got a
it's
couple.
a lot. Electrician, all these things that we think are nothing, putting in your floor, those are skills like
Carpentry.
Dominique and I don't know them, but we know enough to be dangerous.
To execute it.
Because scarcity made us learn it. YouTube University.
But you know what else that I even thought about scarcity and stuff, and why I kind of do like this topic and I'm relating to it so much, which also made me think of why we're able to do that in theater, which is what I used to
Ooh.
like to do when I was in high school.
You need to get into
other
that
than the
again.
band and other than
Need to
and
get into
other
the band
stuff,
again. She's
I like the theater.
multi-talented.
Right. I was like, I like the theater. But in theater, you don't have nothing to create the sets. Everybody that's
You
there,
got to use your mind.
you are
to-
collecting
right.
everything to build this set right now.
So-and-so
And-
has socks. So-and-so has a board.
You have
So-and-so
a
has
job
tree.
You have
Oh my
plants.
God, you had cocoa on your set?
Yes, you have paint. You have plants. And we had bought some paint, and the paint we had extra paint from when we had bought the house, and it
Oh
worked for
my
what we
God,
needed.
you did.
So you don't
Huh.
have the stuff that you need, but in the scarcity,
Right.
you find all of the things and you use what you
No, in your
have,
atmosphere, in your network,
and you
like you had
use what
said.
you have,
You put a clarion call.
and you have your
Y'all,
set,
I need this.
and you have your set.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you do. Okay, I don't have a painter, but I do know how to paint because I've used this skill before. I don't like doing it because it's exhausting. It takes a lot out of me, but I do know how to do this.
And if I
thing.
put
It may
time,
take a little longer,
right. If I
but
put the time, I'm gonna be
I
able
can
to
do
get
it.
it done. Right. If I put the time, as in I did look through some YouTube videos because I started and I was messing up and I was like, wait a minute. It's other people who've done this before. So I think we need to get the right education and then the right tools. And then I was like, wait, they have edgers now? Which is why I went out and bought a couple more
Wait, what
tools
is edge?
because,
Wait, what is an edger to help you paint the edge?
all right, I'm gonna have to show y'all.
But that
So
was
there's different tools
okay.
that can help you. Like this is an edger, it's just a box. So I got two different ones.
Uh-huh.
And this
Okay.
can help you with the edge of the wall so that you're not working as hard to steady your hand.
Okay.
Who knew?
Oh.
So that's why I'm saying we need to put the time in to make sure that we're.
This is some good advice that we're getting because this is real.
This
This
is
is real. I would say this is real because
This is real.
what do you be to do? You know, that's outside. Like you need a painter. You go past the 7-Eleven, you be like, I come get in the car.
But if I had money, I would what?
She would, and that's why she would go and buy a painter or something. And you know what? More power to you, because I'm realizing these are the things that
Yeah.
make the world go round. That it's more than enough ways to execute the things that we need done, and
Right.
we have to stop thinking from a scarcity mindset that we do have. It just is a matter of how you gonna get it.
Right.
How you gonna get it? How we gonna make it happen?
So I think of this even with our adventure with, or our venture with the podcast and wanting to do a Friendsgiving, all of those things. And I remember we had one idea and now we're pivoting. And I think that's the whole thing with scarcity.
It
I
helped us
don't,
think about a whole bunch of
yeah,
new
I don't
ideas.
have enough to do what I would want to do, but I do know that there's enough awesome people out there that I can maybe get a sample from here. I maybe can do this. I can get a free space, a community space,
Mhm.
and we can still all connect together and have a fun time. And guess what? When I do have the resources, I can do it on a grander scale. And I think
Yeah.
we miss out on us connecting because I believe that when we connect together, we will get more opportunity for everyone out of that.
I think like when you're working with your partner, sometimes you guys see stuff in a different way and space. And when you're trying to execute something, I think that was good because now we have different avenues that we can expand on. Even though we didn't get to execute this, we have different things that we can do and work upon and expand upon now because we did do the legwork to figure
Yeah.
out some parts, and I think I don't like to operate out of scarcity, but I do like to operate out of like all of the possibilities, negative and positive. And that's how you come
Yeah.
up with better solutions when you are dealt a roadblock or something like that. And I think that can help, and not to say that you want to live in survival, fight or flight mode and
Yeah.
survival mode, because that's
No one wants to
scarcity
do that.
too, because
Yeah.
no, you don't want to. But it does create and breed this hustle and this grind in you for you to make that lemonade. Though it is
Yeah.
uncomfortable, it squeezes you, it squeezes you to your brink. I hate I don't like it. I don't like feeling like that. But if at the end you be like, dang, wow, we did execute it. How did we even get to these steps and spaces? You would not have been able to get to that
Right.
other side without that push or squeeze or pinch of the scarcity survival a little bit.
Yep. So scarcity makes creativity. You suddenly see options that you didn't see before. You discover dormant skills, right? Things that you forgot you even learned about maybe in high school or when you first bought your house 20 years ago.
And we brought up both of those again, like, because that's so true. It was like, But that's what you do. Like, if you think of it like that, even though we're all not in high school anymore, we're
Yeah.
adults, but that's what you did when you're trying to put on a production, or
Yeah.
that's what you do when you
And
try
this
to
is your
execute
biggest
something,
production. Your life is
your
your biggest
life. So
production.
you have to pull from all of those avenues of those things that you did and used to do. Just like I thought that I was trying to get into bartending and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I have to recertify myself or certify myself or do something," but it's like, I worked in the restaurant and I worked in these spaces enough to know I actually do know how to be a bar back. I do know how to be a bar
Yeah.
back. I do know how to be a host. I do know customer service. I do know the rights and wrongs and what I would like to see. So really talk to yourself and go back over your resume. Like I said, that is one of my favorite hobbies to do because I've had about heck of jobs, y'all. I'm
I
like the
did too.
Jamaican in my family. That's what they like to call me. That I have a whole bunch of jobs because
That's not a
it's
bad thing.
like, yeah,
Jamaicans are like so resilient. And I guess Black people are really resilient.
you have to be.
Also, I am part Jamaican.
Oh,
So I definitely don't want anyone to think
yeah.
that it's a dig because I also work that way. My mom also worked that way.
Mhm.
My great grandmother was a Jamaican and went to Panama and instilled that in us, I guess, through her ourselves, because it's not like I ever got that mandate from her. I didn't
Mhm.
know her, but my aunt, my mom, very hard workers
Always stayed
and
in motion. I just
had
knew,
several
yeah, I would
businesses,
say I
several
just knew that
jobs.
if you weren't in motion, you're not in motion. So,
Right.
like, a object that stays in motion until it stops. So I'm like, yeah, the only thing that can stop me, we need to keep
But
on.
even
We
my
gotta keep
stepdad, because I
going.
remember Bill being like, he was describing someone that he felt was lazy because he was like, yeah, if you're not working, how you gonna eat?
Yeah,
How you gonna eat?
you gotta work.
So I think
Gotta work, bitch.
that is something, a value that's stayed in me. And I don't think I'm never going to say that's a bad thing because my husband and I know that we had to raise some kids.
And
We
on
had to
the
get it
other
done.
end, Jad's family, they work really hard too. And we all work hard. And I feel like they were more so on the tip of work smarter, not harder. So we're gonna, let's
Yeah.
try to. So it's on both sides. We have the physical work that are we're willing to do all of the things to get it done, and then it's all right. Now we're gonna make it more. We're gonna
Right.
multiply it, and so using all of those skills and those
How
things.
can we use technology to help us do this better and quicker? Make
No,
more.
not even that. How do we
Right.
Yeah, how do I get more people or investments, or how do I come
Right.
up with an idea that will, so just those different things. I think right now where I'm getting stuck in it is you have to have an equal parts of mind, physical, and investment of what you're gonna do, because I realize one of those
Yeah.
things is making your money work for you, but that's like one of those tricky things, That's one of those tricky things.
How to get your money to work
How
for
you
you.
how your
Yeah.
money is supposed to work for you, and it's many different ways to do it. It's many different ways to do it.
Yeah.
It's many scams.
We don't want to
It's
scam
many
people.
phishings. Yeah, so that's why it's like
Don't be a scammer.
that's where curating you have to come up with how to make the money work for you.
Yeah.
How to make your mind, the things that you already invested in, the things you already have, work for you. And that's where you go back and be like, what are the skills I already have? I have bar backing. I know how to paint.
Yeah.
I know how to do this. I know how to babysit. I know how to care give, things like that.
I know how to clean. I know how to organize. I'm saying don't scam because you will never be able to multiply and actually be prosperous, have joy in your life if you're making someone account go zero for just trusting you. Don't try to scam your friends and your family. That's not the way to prosper.
Well, I always thought like scamming, you can get the money, right? You can get your money up, right? But the way my dad always explained it to me was that you're not going to be able to use the money anywhere, really. Like how you come across your money is really the value of your money. Because if I come up
Ooh, that's
off of
good.
it, off the street, I'm not going to be able to use it certain type of way. It's going to look illegal. I'm not going to be able to just bring $100,000 cash into a dealership without them ringing that police bell for them to come and investigate that money. It's certain
Yeah.
things that you have to do it correctly. That's why. And just like if you scam, just because that money is in the bank account, right? You're still not going to be able to buy the things that you want because they do those checks and balances, unless you then go and forge paperwork as well,
Which means now
which
you're
you're
going to
now in a
prison.
bigger hole. So it's like, so that's why it's
Now
like,
you are going to what?
that's why it's like
Prison.
you do want to get it legitimately, and that's
Yeah.
why it is hard. That's why it is like, dang,
It's hard to make money legitimately
dang,
because you're
I'm
going to have to
finna,
pay taxes. You're going to have to do
yeah.
X, Y, and Z. But in the long run, that's your prosperity. That's your joy in it.
Now that we on this, I remember them PPP loans from COVID. They just now catching them people now, but
Well,
they is
pray
catching them
deliverance.
people.
Pray
But
deliverance because it's
man,
like,
man, if we had,
mm,
if I ain't even gonna say
mm,
too much. All I
I
gotta
can't.
say is, if I had a business
I
then,
didn't have
we
any
didn't have a
business.
business
I didn't
then,
have a loan.
so we didn't loan it. We
But
didn't
I
do it.
remember being
But
like,
man,
wow, I wish I did that.
right, I wish I did. But no, you don't, because now they're never gonna be able to own that business name. So mm, mm,
Mm.
mm.
Clarity comes from your options narrowing. It's always better to like
Ooh.
be under that pressure. So
And
brewing
don't
your
make bad
own,
decisions. Don't
yeah,
make them illegal decisions. That's back on
because
don't make them
it's
illegal
never
decisions.
that desperate, right? It's never that bad, y'all. We may think that. Take a moment, breathe, write your thoughts, write the ideas of what you want your future to look like, and move towards that.
And I'm laughing, but I've had friends that were very successful when we were in our early 20s, loved them to death. I wish I would have listened to them on a couple of business and investing tip things, but eventually they did go to jail for scamming. They are out now, but it's like those
I thought
things
you were
do
going
continue.
somewhere else with that. I thought
Okay.
you were going to say they're living this great life, but I know
Oh
my
no. The
rainbow is
person
coming.
is up, maybe back up now. They look like they're living a good life, happy again, but you lost out on that time. You now have to relearn things. You now missed out on those times of
And you went to
education because
prison.
you went to prison now. Also, my bad. Also, those certain things of making those good decisions. Because I had the same decisions, opportunities he did. I swear on everything I did. I swear on everything he had asked me. And it was like, I want to. Of course, I want the money. No, you don't do it. You don't scam because you love your freedom. Because there is a better way. Because that's
There
scarcity
is a better
thinking
way.
that you have to steal from somebody's hard earned working money. I will say this though: the advice that that person had gave me that I wish I would have taken was investing in Bitcoin, y'all. And I know y'all feel me when I say that.
Wait, didn't Bitcoins go upside down now?
They did. Now it's irrelevant. However, when it
Eh,
first came out,
You not giving good advice
I'm
though.
sorry. That was in my heart, y'all. I think about that constantly. Not constantly, but be fighting in my sleep. Like, damn, I wish I would have just invested in Bitcoin. We would have been thousand ass millionaires
But
right
you wouldn't
now.
have.
But
So
don't have that
actionable
scarcity
steps.
mindset.
Actionable steps to transformation. Reevaluating your personal and professional goals. We talked about that. Building a scarcity proof skill set. Y'all always be thinking about different certificates, different trainings that you can do.
Mhm.
Your job is always giving you trainings. And if they're not, we need to already be thinking about what our next steps are. They should always be putting into their staff. So if that's not happening, make sure that you're doing that for yourself because 4, 5, 6 years is going to go regardless. You need to make sure you're putting into you.
And remember, like, you're relabeling it. Scarcity is not real. You're relabeling those things about yourself. You're redoing your resume. You're adding on those new skills, vamping up those skills that you already have, remembering and rediscovering those things that you already know about yourself and that you've already executed. You've
Ne-
been doing your job for years. So those different
yeah,
skills that you have of doing your
it's
job,
something.
and like I said, those things that you don't think that you're doing, like you answering the phone, that's customer service. Saying
If you're
have
the
a nice
go-to
day, your
person, yeah.
workflow. That's hospitality. Just those different things.
Yeah.
Relabel those things that you are executing.
And making sure that you're networking intentionally. Make sure that everyone that you're meeting knows who you are, what you're doing, and that you're listening to them because people will share that and be interested in it. Hey, so and so, I remember you had said this, and this. Did you need this? This is what my organization does. Or is there a way that I can support you maybe on a volunteer basis? I've had so many people that I've done that for and have done that for me. And it's been priceless. Like their service of that has really been a support. You're our next guest.